I was the biggest guy in my neighborhood, among my friends and in my school. I couldn't climb up a staircase. If I could go 10 steps without panting, that would have been an achievement. I couldn't run. I couldn't even, do any dips, do any exercise. I was diagnosed with this condition called level 3 of fatty liver. Hello, my name is Lalindra De Silva and I am from Sri Lanka. But as you can see me, I am in the sandy beaches in Mombasa, and currently I work for the largest tea company in the country. And as I'm sure most of you know, Kericho Gold, I work for Kericho Gold. What can I say about myself? I am an accountant by profession and a passion for wildlife photography. I love spending time in the wild. I consider myself, I know the roads of parks more than the roads in Mombasa. Well, that's a bit about myself, but I would like to share with you a life-changing moment and experience of my life. For as long as I can remember, I have been morbidly obese. I'm from Sri Lanka. It's a small, tiny island in the Indian Ocean, just below India. And in Sri Lanka, most of the people are quite skinny. I was the biggest guy in my neighborhood, among my friends and in my school. I used to be made fun of. I used to be called various names. Names like Fatso. They used to call me Lalifant. And in our native language, they would call me Koheng Kapuat Kilo Ekai, which when you translate it into English means when you cut from anywhere, you get a pound of flesh. When you're being called these type of names in your younger days, it kind of hurts you. You've been made fun of, you are being bullied, and as time went by, you find ways to make the pain go away, to make the pain numb. I got into this vicious cycle of where I knew I had to lose weight, but to numb this pain, I turned to food as a comfort. I used to love sweets, I used to love fast food. And then, as you know, when that happens, the pounds keep piling on. I was in this vicious cycle. I knew I had to lose weight, but then I couldn't stop eating because food was my comfort. My teenage years went by. I stepped into my 20s. I started working. I started studying. When you become an accountant, as you know, it's a 9-to-5 job. It's a blue-collar job. You don't get to move around. When you go to office, you sit in your seat and you leave the office when the sun goes down. That used to be my life. With this, again, you got into this unhealthy lifestyle of eating from out, eating fast food. And, you found this comfort and this state where you are extremely happy in the way things are. I started to find excuses to justify my lifestyle. I remember my parents would tell me, Lali, you got to lose weight. You're putting on too much. I remember my girlfriend, who's my wife right now, she used to tell me, you need to lose weight. And when she used to tell that, I used to go to the gym for about a month, 2 months, and then I would stop and then go back. I felt like I was like a pig being taken out from the mud, taken to the shower, and I run back to the mud. So that was me. Then years went by. It was in my early 20s. Then I moved to Saudi Arabia to join another company in finance as well. And again, you see these places, McDonald's, Pizza Hut, Burger King, you name a restaurant, you name a fast food place, it was a foodie's paradise. And when that happened, you couldn't resist the food when you see there. And the pounds kept piling on and piling on and piling on. And then a couple of years later, after I completed my stay in Saudi, I came back to Sri Lanka. Again, a few years I was in Sri Lanka and I moved back. I came to Kenya. I got this opportunity to join Kericho Gold as a financial controller. And when I joined here, I didn't realize that I was living this unhealthy lifestyle. For me, it was normal. For me, I had accepted who I am, this plus size guy who felt extremely happy with himself. But from inside, it was totally different. I couldn't climb up a staircase. If I could go 10 steps without panting, that would have been an achievement. I couldn't run. I couldn't even, do any dips, do any exercise. I felt lazy. I felt sleepy. I just wanted to sit on the couch and watch television. That's it. That was me. And then in 2019, how would I say it? All hell broke loose. What happened? So put it into context, my wife was with me and my 2 kids in 2019 in Mombasa with me. She got to know that her cousin's husband was admitted to hospital because part of his heart was blocked. And the doctors had told him that he was a ticking time bomb. My wife got scared and she said, Lali, I need you to go for a medical checkup. I hadn't gone for a medical checkup in more than 10 years. I was pushing it back, postponing it. And then in December, when we went to Sri Lanka for our vacation, she forced me to go for this checkup. I remember that day, December 26th, 2019. After Christmas, I purposefully made sure I went for the checkup after Christmas so that I can enjoy my mom's cooking. And then I went for this full checkup. The reports came. And one of the tests was to test the liver. For me, it was the first time because I felt like I was pregnant and I could see my, that piece was, where the doctor would be holding it in your stomach. And I could see my liver, I could see my organs in my own body. It was an experience by itself. And the doctor told me, Mr. De Silva, you have an issue. I'm like, what's the problem, doctor? I'll tell you what the problem was. So I took this report, I met the doctor, and I went home. How many of you have had the experience where you have failed certain subjects? You have your report card and you're taking your report card to your mom. I was like that. I was taking this medical report and I was going to meet my wife at home after spending the whole day at the hospital. When my wife saw the report, it was like World War III at home. I was diagnosed with this condition called level 3 of fatty liver. So apparently there are like 4 levels in fatty liver, level 1, 2, 3 and 4. Prolonged level 3 you would end up in diabetes, and worst case level 4 is cirrhosis, which means your liver is gone for good. So coming back, when I met the doctor said, Mr. De Silva, you need to change your lifestyle. That's the only way you are going to get out of this. If you don't do that, you are heading for disaster. So I asked the doctor, what should I do? The doctor said, you need to stop all alcohol. You need to stop all red meat. So no beef, no pork, no mutton. No fast food, no sweets, no sugary stuff. So I asked doctor, what do I eat then? I have nothing to eat. So that's what the doctor told me. And he said the best part of the liver is one of the few, actually the only organ in the body which kind of self-heals. So he said that I will not prescribe you any medication. I'll just give you a vitamin. You just need to exercise and change your lifestyle. That's it. And you will be sorted. Now, when my wife heard this, that I had this condition, she was like, I told you so. I told you not to eat. In our Sri Lankan language, in Sinhalese, we have this saying called Malua nahinne katahinda, which translates to the fish will die because of its mouth. So she said, you are going to die because of your mouth. You have been eating for the past 35 years. Now you can starve. We argued and argued and argued. That night, I still remember that day like it was yesterday. And finally, I saw tears coming from her eyes. I have not seen my wife crying very easily, but that was a day which really touched my heart. And at the end, she was like, you have 2 boys. And at that time, she was pregnant for our 3rd son. She was like, you have an unborn child coming as well. Do you want to die young? Do you want to leave your children fatherless? Do you want to make your children feel ashamed of having a father like you? And these words were like a knife piercing my heart. I have been evading this situation, the elephant in the room of my weight. End of the day, it was not about my weight, it was about my lifestyle, the choices I made in life. And I realized at that moment I had to do something. I have been trying to lose weight for as long as I can remember. I mean, since my teenage years, I have been trying to lose weight. I have tried diets, I have tried going to the gym, but I stuck to it only for maybe a month, 2 months, 3 months. I see a couple of kilos going down and I go back. That was me. Now, I was about to head back to Mombasa, but my wife and my kids were not to come at that time. And she told me, Lali, this time, if you don't change, I will think that I don't have a husband and I will tell our kids that they don't have a father. You have to change your life for the betterment. If you can't do it for yourself, at least do it for your children. Those words really struck me. And I remember it was I think December 31st, I met a dietitian in Sri Lanka just before I came to Kenya. And at that time, I worked out a meal plan with this dietitian. I told the type of lifestyle I live, and we changed our diet, my diet completely. Focused on foods which I kind of liked, where I didn't have to compromise much, but it became a gradual process to lose weight. But the most important thing which the dietitian told me was that you need to cut off this unhealthy stuff like the alcohol, the fried stuff, the processed food. You need to move away from that. I was now equipped with this diet plan. January 6th, 2020, I came to Mombasa. And then when I came to Mombasa, the first thing that I did was I cleaned up the food cabinet. I removed all sugary stuff, all biscuits, all chips, all sodas, whatever sweet was there in my fridge, I just threw it away. I mean, it went into the garbage. I didn't even give it to anyone. I just threw it away. I didn't want to do anything with that. And then I went to the supermarket and just got the stuff which was exactly as per the diet. If there was apples, it was only apples. And I remember getting into the first couple of days to the diet. I felt like a drug addict being taken to rehabilitation. The cravings which I had, there were days which I couldn't fall asleep at night. I used to go get up at night and open the fridge and see what's there in the fridge. In the good old days, I would open the fridge, take some biscuits or some chips or something or some ice cream. I love ice cream, chocolate ice cream, by the way. And I used to just eat it. But now when I open the fridge, I see either oranges or apples or maybe some grapes if I'm lucky. Now I would take that and I would sit in front of the TV and eat an apple. And I'm not sure how many apples you can eat at a stretch, right? Maybe 2 or 3 maximum. And then I started to hit the gym. So the place where I was staying, we had our own gym in the apartment. I was going to the gym. Initially I took baby steps. Just did the bicycle, the treadmill. Slowly, I started getting into the exercise mode. And then in the first month, okay, coming back, I was 126 kilograms at my heaviest. Now, in the first month, if I'm not mistaken, I lost something like 6 kgs in the first month because of me moving into this new diet. And when I saw 6 kgs coming down in the first month, I was so thrilled. I was so proud of myself of this achievement. And then in February, as you know, 2020, COVID came along. Kenya started slowly going into lockdown. Curfew started coming in. The gyms closed. Now, at this moment, I was wondering, what am I going to do? I cannot go to the gym. I used to make sure 5 days of the week, I used to go to the gym. Now, I remember 7 o'clock, there was curfew in Mombasa. You had to be home early. You cannot leave the place. Now, I was wondering, what do I do? I'm living in an apartment. I cannot go to the gym. I cannot step out of the house. There's curfew. What do I do? I knew I had to do something. If I just waited without doing anything, I was scared that I would put on the 6 or 7 kgs which I had lost. At that time, I decided, let me go to our basement. And I started to walk in our basement. I remember walking around our basement, where other people would come and park the cars and I would be walking around. It was not a big basement, but I remember doing like 10 kilometers in 1.5 hours. I started walking. And then I had the diet plan. It was like a blessing in disguise as well, because during COVID time, no parties, no eating out, no going out anywhere, no cocktails, no functions, nothing. Indirectly, I myself was in curfew. I was not eating any junk food. All the places, the pizza places, the places which I love, all were closed. I had now no choice but to eat the food which was 100% was on my diet. It was a blessing in disguise as well. Now, the months started to go, and from 120, 115, 114, 13, I could see the pounds, the kilos keep dropping. And then it came to a stage where I could now run, I could jog. I used to jog in our basement. I used to cover 10 kilometers from 1.5 hours. Now I could run a 10-kilometer run in 1 hour. I started to see the fitness levels rise. I could walk up the stairs without any problem. And now I was at around 110. And when I came to these levels, I could see a difference in myself. My face started to shrink. Earlier, I didn't have a neck. Now I have a neck. I realized that I have a neck. My complexion started to change. And I started to feel energized. I felt like I'm not 35 years or 36 years. I felt like I'm like in my 20s, because my body has got used to this lifestyle of hitting the gym not the gym, jogging, doing cardio exercise, and eating healthy. And any day I would eat something heavy or eat something very oily. I would maybe visit a friend's house and go out for dinner. My body was like rejecting that food. My body was not used to that food. And then, I kept on and on my diet. Fast forward, November 2021. Today my weight is at 95. I have been around 93, 94, 95, 96. I'm around that range right now. Now for me, it's all about keeping myself healthy and maintaining myself. Now, the best part was, 2 months back, I went back to Sri Lanka. I went for my health checkup. And this time when I went to my health checkup, I felt like, that boy who has studied really, really hard and now going ready for the exam. And then the doctor checked my liver once more. He said, "Mr. De Silva, your liver is perfect. Your liver is back to normal. Well done. Keep it up. Whatever you have been doing, just keep it up." I was so happy. I went home. I shared this news with my wife. My wife is a person who rarely gives me a compliment. Now, that day, you could see the joy in her face when she saw that the report. And I remember when I went to Sri Lanka, she was like, "I could finally hug you. I could feel my hands around you." That was her. So, me losing my weight, so if you see, I have lost over 30 kgs, has changed my life. I have become more confident. I feel more confident in myself. I could speak to people, and I feel now people can take me seriously because I have this significant achievement in life where I was down, but I have a story to tell, and people listen to my story and people get inspired. So many of my friends, my school friends, when they saw me last year, when I went last year to Sri Lanka, they were like, "Lali, we all are putting on weight. You are going the other way. What's happened to you? You are looking younger and we are looking older." So I really cherish my situation right now. And the best part of losing weight is the clothes. I am spoiled for choices now. Those days, I used to go only to the plus size section and I had this limited amount of clothes, boring selection of clothes. But today, I am spoiled for choices. I even wear skinny jeans. I never thought I could wear skinny jeans, but today I could wear skinny jeans. And I'm so happy when I go. I myself get confused. What do I wear today? What if I'm buying something? Should I buy this? Should I buy that? Should I buy this? I get confused, which is a good problem to have, I guess. Now, from this whole experience of me losing weight, when I look back, I think, why couldn't I have done this before? Why couldn't I have lost my weight before? I honestly can't remember the last time I was in double figures. I can't remember. Maybe in my teens, early teens or late 20s, early 20s. I honestly can't remember. Now, when I look back, if I had my fitness levels today, at that time, I could have done so much in my life. In sports, maybe as a person, maybe as a career-wise, I could have done so much more. This was a big elephant in the room. It was a monkey behind my back, which I have been trying to get off for the past 15 to 16 years. And the reason I think why I couldn't do that was I couldn't find my why or a compelling reason to change. For me, it was all about trying to please my parents, trying to please my girlfriend, trying to please my wife. It was it. I never thought about myself. I need to do this for me. But the moment I realized that I have got this condition which would affect me because my grandmother had diabetes, one of my uncles had cirrhosis, so I know what they went through. And I thought, I am not taking that road. I have to make a U-turn in my life. Now, when you have been pushed to that corner, when you realize that you have no choice but to change your life, sometimes that brings the best out of you. But it could, vice versa also could happen. It could really depress you as well. But for me, I was able to dig myself out of this hole. I had my parents, my wife, my kids to support me. They were encouraging me, and I was able to get out of this rut. So my friends, what I would like to tell you is, whatever you want to do in life, whether it may be starting a job, maybe it be in your studies, maybe it may be trying to start up a business or something you want to achieve in life. Figure out the reason or why. Are you going to university because of your parents, or are you doing it for yourself? Are you starting a business because somebody told you to do it, or are you really passionate about it? Are you trying to find a solution to a problem, or are you thinking short term? These are the questions which you need to ask yourself. Only when you figure out your why is that you can give your 100% or your dedication to it. Your why is, when you keep doing it, it makes you happy. It ignites a fire inside you. It's like when you keep doing it, you feel like time stops. Now for me, if I don't go to the gym at least 3 to 4 times a week, I feel there's something wrong with me. Like today, I was up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I went to the gym at 6 until 7:30. In those days, I would get up at 7:30. Now, if I don't go to the gym, there's something wrong with me. My body craves going to the gym. You cannot live without it. Eating healthy. I make sure during the week, I eat extremely healthy. I still follow about 70 to 80% of that initial diet plan which I had 1.5 years ago, nearly 2 years ago. But today, I know I can go and eat a pizza, for example, guilt-free, because I have achieved something in life, and I know when if I eat something which I'm not supposed to eat, I know what to do about it. I would then rather next day I would change my diet to make sure that it kinds of balance off. And another thing which I have done is I have kind of studied nutrition a bit, of how the calories in, calories out work. And I try to eat what we call low calorie dense food. Let me give you an example. What does that mean? You take a bar of chocolate. A bar of chocolate would have, let's say, minimum 200 calories. But if you take an apple would have maybe 50 calories. Now, this small bar of chocolate, you can eat it and you will still feel hungry. Now, you could eat 4 apples, which will give 200 calories, and you will not be able to finish the 4 apples. So that's what we call low calorie dense food. So my diet revolves around this low calorie dense food. I try to avoid carbs. I don't eat too much of carbs, but I focus mainly on things like leaves, salads, proteins, and I try to eat clean food. I try to avoid processed food like salamis to sausages to fried stuff. I try to avoid that because of my liver condition, which I had. Even though I'm okay, I am careful. And I make conscious decisions when I go out to eat. So it applies to life as well. If you try to do something, you need to have a plan in whatever you do. Maybe you want to start a business, you need to figure out why you want to do that. And when you figure out why, you need to come up with a plan to achieve that. You need to set yourself goals, you need to set yourself objectives. So until you find your why in your life to achieve a certain objective, you are going to give up. You will see, you will try to achieve it, but you will just give up unless you find that why, that reason which will drive you. Now, I have a reason to get up in the morning. Why do I want to lose weight? Is I want to be an example for my 3 boys. So my friends, as we come to an end of this session, I would like to leave you with this quote from Mark Twain. He says, there are 2 important days in a man's life. One is the day he was born and the day he discovers why. So I hope, I'm sure you know the day you were born. I hope you will discover why. Thank you. Have a good day.